Yeah.
Please give a warm welcome to Lexi.
Okay, so my name is Lexi, and for my Zenith project, I wanted to try tune shading. So here's like some examples in the media of tune shading, and it's basically when you have like a 3D model and then you use these different shaders to make it look 2D. So my inspiration was this video that was recommended to me on YouTube by the creator Cody Gindi, and I watched it and was like, wow, this is so cool, I want to do that too. And naturally I was like, wow, this is so cool, I need to stalk his account, his YouTube account. But he had like 2 videos, and then I saw that he had a TikTok, so I stalked that instead. And I was like, wow, these are all like so cool. And then especially when he moved them, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. So that was my inspiration. And then, so for reference, I use Blender because if you look up tune shading in Maya on YouTube, there's like 2 videos. So I was like, okay, I'm going to teach myself Blender. So I used the video by Eve Sculpts as a reference of how to use Blender, and it was really helpful. And then the rest of them I used as reference for the tune shading itself. So my original idea was to 3D model this like character turnaround I made, but it turned out like this. I made the head, and I was like, this is so bad, and I was like, this is such a flop. So speaking of flop, I made a fish instead. So I drew this in Procreate, and then I added it into Blender. And then I added a round cube because that's what the YouTuber told me to do. And then I turned on X-ray so I can see through it and can see what I drew. And then I repeated that process for each of the part. Like the body is its own separate model, and then like the eyes, the fins, stuff like that. They're all like separate. And my finished model, I used what's really good about Blender is that it has a sculpt feature, which if you use Maya, which is more like geometric shapes, you have to import it into ZBrush to smooth things out and make it more geometric. So like for this, it was like really helpful because I was able to do it within one program. So I went back to the video by, like I mentioned before, by Cody Gindi, and he was like, okay, like export a normal map and then like color pick and paint over it in like whatever digital art program. And so I did that. This was my fault. I could see that had potential in the top one, but in the video that I used for sculpting itself, like I was following that, and then once she got to coloring the model, she was like, oh, like, you know, cut a line on the model so then it's like separate parts and it's easier to color. And then I didn't follow the rest because I'm like, oh, you're doing it more 3D and I want to do tune shading. So that's how we ended up with this. I feel like if I didn't do it, it would have turned out fine. Yeah. So then I was like, oh, let me just combine all the layers together and cut corners, which I shouldn't have done because I ended up with this for all mine, which isn't what I wanted. It doesn't like necessarily look bad, but it's not what I was going for. But yeah, I did cell shading and then painterly effects. So I redid it, and this is because I remembered. I was like, oh my god! Before I added all the like layers of the different separate pieces of the model together, I duplicated it to like add it together just in case anything went wrong, which was perfect because that's how I was able to have each of these be its own separate color. So I just like made this like sequence of shader nodes, and then I made that once and then would copy and paste it into like another part of the model and then just change the colors, which was really nice. Yeah, and then what was really cool is that it kind of moved with the, like when I moved the model, like the colors itself also moved, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So, this is my painterly one. There are definitely more shader nodes for it. And yeah, I just did like kind of like the same process. I just followed the videos, added all the shader nodes, but copied that, pasted it into another part of the body, and then changed the colors and repeated that process. And also, as you can see on like both of my models, I had this video. I kind of like this one of how like the colors kind of changed when I moved it. Like you can see it more towards like the head, how it gets a little like purple or a little bit more purple. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And for both of my models, I had what looked like line art on it, and this is basically how I made it. I made a new material. I just added those two shader nodes, and then I like went and added another modifier. I added a solidify modifier, and then clicked fill. I clicked flip, and then changed the material offset to 2, and then changed I changed it to my desired thickness to get kind of the line art look. And yeah, these are some of my favorite 3D modeled fish. Yeah.
Any questions for Lexi? Or do you have any reflections or anything like that? You good? It's okay. Questions?
Yeah, just
Question. All right. Questions.
Why did you choose a fish?
I mean, okay, looking back on it, I'm like, wait, a fish has been with me for a long time. Like, my junior narrative, our character was, it was like a human body and then a fish head just floating, which is pretty nice. That picture I put in my lyrical essay. And yeah, the fish has always been there for me throughout my freestyle experience.
Did you like using mine or
Well, I kind of like how in Blender, like I said, there's like a sculpt mode, which was nice because I don't have to import it to like another program. But the sculpt mode, like how things move, is kind of relative to like the vertex points. So that was kind of annoying sometimes. And that's kind of like how I ended up with that really bad looking head. Yeah, but I know I did kind of like really like Blender.
would you want to like keep exploring like considering like other like similar techniques like in 3D, or are you done?
I feel like I would want to do like more like toon shading things, like how I said like in the beginning I originally wanted to do a character, which flopped. And I think like also since like the fish is more kind of like flat, like some things like there was like in the cell shading one, like there was a side that like was kind of like empty, you know. So I feel like I would want to try to do a character model and again like follow that original video I saw for like the painterly effect. I feel like that would be really fun.
I like your fish, and I like how in the painterly one, I think when you moved it, like the one that was like had purple on it, it kind of looked like the fish scales like doing the reflective thingy. That was really cool.
Did you have any like inspirations for that movie you're going for, or is it just that YouTube?
It was mainly that just like YouTube video that was like, wow, this is like so cool. And I don't know, that was just like the main inspiration, I guess.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.